The founders of the East African community envisioned a region that would grow into a prosperous, competitive, secure, stable, and politically united community. 20 years later, true to their dreams and aspirations, EAC is the fastest growing regional economic bloc in Africa. With an expansive market spanning a combined GDP of $193 billion and a hardworking and youthful population of over 177 million.
But looking at the very specific issues in terms of why it is touted to be one of the fastest growing. One is because of the resources that we have in the community in East Africa, natural resources.
We continue to cooperate with other partner states on also improving our roads, the railway systems, the waterways, air transport. All this really to ensure that we have smooth movement of people and goods.
A total of 17 key priority infrastructure projects in the areas of transport, cross-border operations, energy and ICT aimed at deepening integration have been identified out of an approved set of 286 projects by the various EAC heads of state joint retreats on infrastructure development and financing over the years, the most recent having been held in 2018.
Total required investment to implement these projects was about $78 billion for the next 10 years and beyond.
By 2012, Dar es Salaam Port could only manage to handle 13 million tons a year, and that is stored capacity by then. But within 1 decade, the modernization and expansion of Dar es Salaam Port, for instance, has enabled it to go to the capacity of handling 30 million tons, which is over 130% increase within 1 decade, which is, I'm sure, one of the significant records across the globe.
Over the last 5 years, the Mombasa cargo volumes throughput performance has steadily grown with a compound annual rate of 5.7% from 27.36 million tons in 2016 to 34.12 million tons in 2020.
If we adopted the railway system and revived it and also implemented the master plan, we would grow our economies to a level of 7.5 to 8% per annum. And this will change what we call the per capita income of most of the East African members, communities, and their people.
For SGR, it's much faster. Also, I think it's much cheaper because traveling from here to Mombasa using a bus, it's about 1,800 bob, while using SGR, it's 1,000 bob. Now, saving 800, it's a lot.
Average transport costs for a 20-foot container from Mombasa to Kampala has fallen by about 30% from $2.9 per kilometer in 2010 to $2.1 per kilometer in 2020. And Mombasa to Kigali has reduced by about 50% from $3.9 per kilometer in 2010 to $2 per kilometer in 2020.
To make it much more easier for these countries to be able to do business within East Africa, but also improve the lives of people within East Africa. As a country, we have to develop a much more reliable, efficient transport. If you go to the retailer, 40% of what you pay as a final consumer is 40% is for the logistic cost. So if you're able to cut maybe 50% or 40% of logistic cost, you improve a lot in terms of the price to the final consumer.
So if we have ease of movement across and we have our ports being very efficient, no extraordinary costs that are being lumped onto the manufacturer, it means better returns for the manufacturers. It also means we can pass the same benefits on to our consumers.
Several kilometers of new roads have been built, with others being upgraded across the various partner states within the cities and across the borders. The East African community has built one-stop border posts across the borders of partner states to ease cross-border travel and trade. Nationals of EAC partner states do not need visa while traveling to other partner states. The 11 out of 15 completed operational one-stop border posts or SBPs along the various border points amongst the partner states, together with harmonized road transport regulations, have all eased movement of people, goods and services, thereby saving time, reducing transport costs as envisaged in the East African Community Common Market Protocol.
Hapo nyuma tulikuwa na shida sana kwa barabara, lakini kwa sababu kuna barabara ilikuwa inatoka Voi mpaka Taveta ilikuwa mbaya sana. Na wakati iliwekwa lami, saa hii inakuwa tu ni 1 hour from Voi to Taveta. Alafu kama tungeweza barabara kutoka Tanzania side mpaka Rusumo border, kama inaweza kutengenezwa vile hii ya Voi imetengenezwa, kazi ingekuwa rahisi sana.
A day, we quantify that you are losing $100 a day. So multiply by how many days? So before the investment in infrastructure, some of the clearance at the border would take maximum of 7 days. Currently, we are talking about hours.
Now, with automations within the region, all our custom systems are interfaced. So this one, they are talking, they are exchanging data. This has also relatively reduced a significant time, clearance time, as well as cost.
Integrating other infrastructure components within the transit corridors is providing an important appreciation of the integrated nature of the infrastructure sector in the region.
So the Rusumo is one of the East African power pool project. So we are going to pool that power into the local people around in Tanzania, the local people around in Rwanda, but also in Burundi. It gives us a very good lesson that we can implement such a project, an integrated project, which can also benefit the all participants, and in this case, the 3 countries.
While majority of these projects have been financed internally and externally, public-private partnerships and more funding from development partners will be key components to further the development of new, sustainable and competitive transport and trade infrastructure projects in the region.
Currently, we have established a framework, our technical working group between the East African Community and the East African Business Council, which is the apex body of the private sector in East Africa. And this network is meant to identify some gaps and see how we need to strengthen the role of private sector in engagements.
In the years ahead, EAC will continue to build on the progress made so far, guided by the EAC Vision 2050, where all citizens enjoy sustainable socio-economic growth, poverty reduction, international and intra-regional trade facilitation, and deepened regional integration. East African Community, one people, one destiny.